Well, not a bad day in the paint stripping department. Got it back to bare metal, most of it, and the rest of it, those bits up round there, I'm going to rub them down by hand, wet and dry, with something fairly coarse like 180, and that'll make it smooth enough to primer onto. This was always going to be one of the worst jobs on the car, is getting it painted under the bonnet, but once that's done, I can really crack on. I'll weld that plate on as well tomorrow. So yeah, this is it. Get it prepared, all done, all painted, and then start fitting the parts back onto it. So on every job you do, you get to a point and you go, no, that's enough, just stop now and move on. So we're now at that point with the underbonnet prep. I've sanded it, I've stripped it, I've done rubbing it by hand. Anyway, that's done. This is our new plate, that's all been welded in there. Next thing I do is everything that's gonna be as it is now, that's it. So I'm gonna seam seal all around the edges, all around here, make it all neat, and all around the edges of this as well. So that'll all look lovely, that will. This thing here is coming out. I think that's when they got an interior heater rather than an exterior heater. Anyway, I'll just put a little aluminium plate over that. So yeah, we'll have it seam sealed all the way around the edges there. So it'll all look nice and neat. Then a couple of coats of primer, 2-pack primer, which is really hard. And then flat it down a little bit, just get rid of any little imperfections. And then grey paint, and then we're done. I've removed the last of the steering apparatus today. So all the steering joint things are gone and removed. And underneath so I've taken out all cleaned the chassis mounting points as well. Chassis was a little bit twisted in places, which I've straightened a lot of it out, mainly on the passenger side. So it's all nice and sort of straight and in the right position, but I've cleaned all that up. I'm not going to be painting it mad under there. I'll probably just paint it black so that it all matches everything else under there. Then everything under the bonnet will be in grey, and then we can actually get on with some proper fitting up and some real progress. And that's it really. So I'm quite pleased where I am now with it, and yeah, crack on with it, get it painted, and then get on to the actual proper fitting up. Then we can see some real progress. So the seam sealing has been done all around the edges on it, so see like that, so it's all nice and neat around there. And then it had a couple of coats of aerosol etch primer on the bare metal, which was quite easy to do. And then it's had a good 2 or 3 coats of 2-pack primer, which will go really, really hard. And being grey, should we chip it, it's not going to matter, because the paint, that is, if we chip the paint, the primer will be grey underneath anyway. But it's come up nicely. A couple of little tiny bits probably flatted down just with a Scotch-Brite pad. But overall, I'm really pleased with it. So that's where I seam sealed around the edge of that. And that'll be ready for some sort of grey paint tomorrow. Get the grey paint on there tomorrow. And come next week, everything can start going back in there again. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. We got it, it's probably the coldest day of the year so far, but temperature wise we're in here, we are up at a heady, get that in the light, about 16 degrees, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's it, it's all nice, all good. That's it for today. So just doing the final prep before painting the underneath of the bonnet area and all in the engine bay. So it's all got 2-pack primer on it, and then you go over it all with like these really coarse Scotch-Brite pads. Come in different grades. This is a red, which is a fairly coarse one, but it's still good enough to, once you can paint straight on top of it with 2-pack paint, and it'll come out lovely. You won't see any scratches or lines in it. What it does is just taking any little imperfections out of it. You can tell when it's smooth and when it's not, because when I'm on this bit, it makes a bit of noise. When you're on that bit, which is smooth, it doesn't make any noise. Also up here, whilst I was doing everything, I rediscovered the original body number, you could call it chassis number, but I cleaned it all off, and then I put the masking tape over it because I didn't want to lose the definition with the load of 2-pack primer on top of it. So we'll just give that a quick final clean up, and then I'll paint on top of that so it'll only have a layer of body colour on that. Let's just hope that that body number ties up with the one in the logbook, otherwise we'll have to prize it off. But other than that, it's all pretty good. Now, the colour of the car, well, it's varying shades of grey, 50 shades of grey you could possibly say, in different places on the car. I don't know what the grey is, but I do have some original Austin A35 Dove grey. So I've decided, as it's a similar-ish colour, I'm going to paint it Dove grey underneath the bonnet. Then at least we know that it's Dove grey under the bonnet, and if it gets painted on the outside, you can always paint the car Dove grey, and then it will match under the bonnet. So that's the plan. It's all coming on nicely. I will finish the last bit of prep there and get ready to put some paint on. Get it nice and hot in here. Get some 2-pack on that, and that'll be gleaming. It's a little bit noisy because I've still got the heater going, but yeah, it's come out nicely. All that crap that was on there to start with, all gone. All the important bits that you're going to see when you open the bonnet, all nice and shiny. The bulkhead there, plenty of paint on there, and up the top there and in the back there. There's your chassis number just painted over the top. You'll probably be able to see it one way or another. And so that's it, that's all in Dove grey now. And let that go off all over the weekend. And then come next week, start putting bits to it. I think we'll be starting with the wiring loom, get that fed through. I always like to get that in early doors. But yeah, it's come up nice, as expected.